back to my channel. My name is Natalie, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you a very nice, cute, easy and affordable Christmas gift idea that you can come up last minute. This time I'm going to be baking some marble pound cakes that I'm going to be giving to my coworkers on our Christmas lunch tomorrow. So if you want to learn how I made these and how I wrap them in a very cute way, stick around and I'll show you how. Alright, if you listen my husband speaking is because he is actually streaming video games, so just ignore that. But let's review all the ingredients that I have laying down on my counter. I have my recipe here in Spanish, which is marble cake. And this is actually the original recipe for one cake, but I'm gonna double it up because I'm baking 4 cakes in a loaf bread pan. I'm gonna talk about those later, but in here I have everything here doubled up because I'm gonna make the recipe twice. I'm gonna link in my blog down below all those instructions and all the recipe for one cake if you wanted to bake just one, and if you want to double up the recipe or triple up the recipe, you can do so. So what do we have here? We have 3 sticks of butter, which this actually is a cup and a half of butter. Original recipe calls for 3/4 cups of butter. I'm gonna use some oil. This is only gonna be half a cup. 8 eggs, an entire 16 ounces container of sour cream. I have my flour. This is gonna be 5 cups of flour. It's a lot, but each recipe or each batch of cake calls for 2.5 cups of flour, so we're gonna be using 5. I have 3 cups of sugar. I have vanilla. Now, please invest in a very good vanilla flavor. I know it can be a little bit expensive, but this is gonna ensure you're gonna have a very, very nice, flavorful cake. And I have my, that's my oven that finished preheating, but I have my special dark Hershey's cocoa powder. The recipe calls for half a cup. I'm probably not going to be using an entire cup of this cocoa powder because it's very strong, so I'm just kind of, play around with it and see how dark I want it. In this little container here I have my baking soda, my baking powder, and lastly I have an orange because we are going to be using the zest of an orange. This is going to give so much flavor and it's going to make the entire difference in the cake or in the flavor of the cake. This is totally optional, but if you are willing to try it, I'll say go for it because it's really, really good and it totally changes up the flavor. So I'm gonna literally whip everything up. I'm gonna start with the wet ingredients, which is the butter, the oil, the sugar, the vanilla, the eggs, and then I'm gonna start incorporating the dry ingredients, which are the flour and the baking soda and the baking powder. And then I'm going to separate the mix into 2 parts, and in one of them I'm gonna mix the cocoa powder. So you're gonna see how I do it. And the loaf pans that I have here that I'm gonna use, I'm gonna be baking 4 of these at the same time. I got these at the dollar store and I just carefully removed the label that they had and I washed them very thoroughly. I remember that these pans from the dollar store used to rust if you didn't dry them right at the moment you wash them. I feel like these are a little bit better quality, which I'm pretty excited for, and just for $1 it's like you can't really beat that. So I'm gonna try them today for the first time and tell you how they do on this baking process. Okay, as you can see here, I've had whipped up all the ingredients except for the cocoa powder. I did add a generous amount of the orange peel that you see right here. But now I'm gonna separate this mix into two parts, and I'm going to mix one of them with this. You'll see that too, and I'm sorry about the mess in my counter, but I have not cleaned it since I did this. So I have just greased my pans. I only use butter and flour. To me, it's the best method, and it never fails. It doesn't matter what kind of pan you use. Add a thin, even layer on each of the pans, and I'm going to proceed and add my chocolate. So I have a cookie scoop right here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take one scoop, put it right here, and then grab another scoop and put it right here like so. Okay, so I ended up adding a third scoop because I have a lot of leftover chocolate batter. So I'm going to even this out just a little bit, but just so that it mixes with the vanilla batter. And then I'm going to grab the tip of a stool. If you don't have a tool like this, you can use a knife, like a kitchen knife. And then I'm going to run it like this. And you don't see it on the top right now, but when the cake is done and you actually cut it, you are gonna see that marble effect. Many people like to put like one scoop of each batter at a time, but you know, that takes a lot of time. I found this method to be a little easier and faster, and it actually creates the same marble effect that makes this cake so visually delicious. And since I'm filming with one hand, I cannot actually hold the pans, but I'm gonna do that with the rest of the pans. I'm gonna put them in the oven, and I'll be showing you, of course. I have my cakes already baking in the oven. I just put them in. I put them at 350 degrees, and I'm going to be checking on them every 10 to 15 minutes. The reason being is because chocolate cakes tend to dry very much if you leave them in the oven for longer than they should. So as soon as that cake, I can insert a toothpick and it comes out dry, I know that it's time to get them out of the oven, and not a single second more, because it's very important for me that it doesn't dry. I'm gonna clean the kitchen. I do estimate that they are gonna take 15 to 20 minutes because those are very small pans. At the end, I did end up using all of my batter, so I made a good calculation on how much I needed to double up the recipe. So I'm gonna clean my kitchen. I'm sorry, my husband is streaming. And I'll show you when they come out of the oven. All right, so the kitchen is ready. I have another coffee because I can never have too much coffee. And my cakes are out of the oven. Let me show you. This is how they look like. So cute. I was so wrong about the time in the oven. I estimated that they were gonna be in there for 15 minutes, but they were nowhere near to be ready by that time. I think they last like 30 minutes in the oven or something like that. So I just took them out. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm going to run this knife through the edges and let them rest for about 10 minutes. And then after 10 minutes, I'll take them out and let them cool completely in this cooling racks that I have down here. Now, the reason why I do this way is because if I was to take them out of the pan right now, they're probably gonna break, but I cannot leave them in the pan for over 10 minutes because they do continue to cook while they're in the pan. So just a little detail to keep in mind. You see how this like separates from the pan? That means that they're completely done and they're ready. And so far, I mean, they look very well. So I think these Dollar Tree pins are like not bad, you know, but we shall see after we take them out. But they look pretty normal cakes to me. And this is how they look like out of the pan. Oh my God, I'm really surprised by the quality of Dollar Tree pans. I have them right there. I just have to wash them. And I think I'm gonna have to dry them immediately or else they might rust. But I mean, look at these beauties. They came out perfect. So now they're going to be cooling off in these cooling racks for maybe an hour, maybe two, and then I'm gonna wrap them. So exciting. So this is how the cakes ended up looking like all wrapped. I basically wrapped each single cake in parchment paper, and over that layer I put this gift wrap that I found at TJ Maxx. I used some regular white twine to wrap it around the present, and then I grabbed some pine tree leaves. These are fake, but I thought they looked very cute. They came from a garland that I had. And then I created these cards that says Merry Christmas 2019 with my hand lettering. That's totally optional, but you can write whatever you want. And I think it looks super cute, and it was super affordable to do. And that was everything for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.